What's happening, people? It is your boy, Tony B. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Poetry, Politics, and Life, where we bear it all. I am your host, Tony Briscoe. We gonna get right into it. Let's go and welcome back.
Yo, what's happening? It's your boy, Tony B. Hey, I hope your Thanksgiving was well. Man, I hope your families were blessed for those of you who choose to celebrate that day. It is National Native American Heritage Month. So I have to dig into the poetry archives with a book called Voices from my good friend Terri L. Johnson from the First Nations tribe in Alberta, Canada. In this book, she's joined by a couple of friends of hers, but I wanted to share a piece that she wrote called First Nations Enslaved. Fresh off the government line, we signed in blood, our rights diminished to accommodate an evolving political time. We followed, one after the other, a succession of tradition being led to the slaughter. A good trade was bought and bartered. A signed agreement was later chartered. Indians was what was forged in ink, and Aboriginal thought was redefined only to be mass produced into a different way of thinking. A minority of savages. We would always be viewed as such. Filthy and degrading is what they continue to see in us. A judgment decreed by the government's almighty greed. Like cattle, we were electrically prodded to change our way of thinking. They reprogrammed our systems that our will to fight was slowly dwindling. Stripped from our cause, ripped and torn, our Aboriginal identities slowly becoming lost. Our traditions are now paying the cost, separated into quadrants that now invisible lines separate us. Unjust and enslaved, brought down and individually depraved, First Nations people continuously pushed aside by a government's greed in which they secretly try to hide. Little do they know that nothing could diminish us. If we all stood together as one, we have a chance to come out on top. In that you could definitely trust. Then nothing or nobody would be able to stop us. My sister from Hobbema, my sister in Canada, Terri L. Johnson. Well, what can we say, people? This is Native American Heritage Month nationally in the United States. And just want to acknowledge my brothers and sisters who named African Americans Buffalo Soldiers. We have to acknowledge the original peoples who inhabited this land. Now, I'm not getting deep into a historical lesson because it's a lot to learn about dispersion of races and ethnicities and all that good stuff. But this we do know. It's hard to discover a land that was already inhabited. It's hard to take responsibility, or I shouldn't even say responsibility. It's hard to take appreciation and gratitude for a land that apparently you never stepped on. The Indian people have been decimated in America. And when you talk about reparations, old big time. And I don't mean in just giving some sovereign land. You know, they're owed reparations for the Trail of Tears. They're owed reparations for the slaughter of their people. They're owed reparations for the casinos and alcohol consumption that has been allowed to infiltrate them. As sure as gun violence has plagued the African American community, I've talked to Native peoples who've said that gambling has decimated them. And I'm talking people I served in the military with after 9/11. And so there's so much history here. And it will behoove all of us, as much as we take place in American history, to acknowledge those Americans who were here first before a white man stepped foot on this planet into this area of the hemisphere. We have to acknowledge those people who were here. So this week's podcast, I dedicate to them and thank you for your pride. A gentleman by the name of Buster from Camp Rosenthal would teach the kids and teach us a lot about Native American history. I can't remember what tribe he's from, and I'm not going to insult him by throwing a name out there that sounds familiar, but I remember him taking time to teach us of their ways, to teach us of their spirits, to teach us of their way of living, their way of thinking, and their way of rearing and raising children. So this podcast, I dedicate to you, my native, my original people. Thank you for all you've done to be a part of this country. Thank you for the work of the Navajo during World War II and code breaking. Thank you for your contributions to a land that was taken from you, yet a land you still love. God bless you.